We are watching shares of AT&T, not just today, but on the week as well. Scotiabank upgraded the stock, raising its rating from sector perform to sector outperform, and the firm noting AT&T's optimistic wireless and broadband trends. It's been an interesting week for AT&T. It was only up about 0.8% today, but the Wall Street Journal flagging today it was its best week in a year. It's had a bad year, to be clear.
It's down nearly 20%.
Yeah, and it also, at one point, traded at its lowest since 1993. It's really been a rocky year for the telcos in general, right? And AT&T has certainly participated in that. The company did report earnings earlier in the week. That then gave it a lift, and then the analysts sort of piled on and gave some positive commentary.
Yeah, so profit beat, revenue up about 1% to $30.4 billion. Looks like mobile subscriber gains. We know there's a lot of competition, of course, between the big carriers to grab those customers. Raise its free cash flow guidance. As you said, we did get some positive commentary on the news. You know, Citi was telling its clients, it says the report supports AT&T's opportunity to sustain growth in its strategic products with a target of 17 is what they told their clients. But like you said, edged higher today, but has been rough sledding for the year.
Yeah, so we'll see if this is the beginning of some kind of turning point or it's just a blip when it comes to this performance.
Find out.
Yep.
Moving on, Merck inking a deal with Daiichi Sankyo. Merck to pay as much as $22 billion. The companies to jointly develop and potentially commercialize antibody drug conjugate candidates. Shares of Merck, let's say, did today up about 2%, Julie. So I guess agree to buy the rights to sell these 3 experimental cancer drugs. In terms of the number, Julie, Merck's going to pay $4 billion up front, as much as $22 billion to develop and market these 3 cancer drug candidates. And I guess the strategy here is for Merck, let's add some drug candidates to our oncology portfolio.
Yeah, like many of the large drug makers, they have some things whose patents are rolling off. And in particular, Merck's drug Keytruda, which is its best-selling cancer therapy, is going to lose patent protection later this decade. So it is trying then to expand out into, look to the future. What are going to be the next big cancer drugs of the future? That's what this bet seems tied to. Keytruda is a big drug for the company. It's going to enter, though, government-negotiated pricing. That is going to be happening in 2028 when it's going to reach $33 billion in global sales, according to estimates. So, again, you get a sense of how big this drug is, but also how big the cancer opportunity is. And that Merck is not alone, certainly, among the big drug makers looking for those opportunities globally.
And like AT&T, though, some green today, but again, not an easy year for Merck, down about 10% so far this year.
Yeah, good point. Speaking of downdrafts, unfortunately, another one to add to the IPO list. Klaviyo shares now slumping, with the company trading below its IPO price of $30. The company joining its peers that went public in September that are also struggling since their debuts. Klaviyo had been doing better, right?
Yeah.
It had been kind of
that was the bright spot.
Standout here, off by 3% today. And I was looking at some of the numbers. It's got, or I should say recommendations. It has 8 buys, 4 holds from analysts. The price target, the average price target, if you put them all together, is almost $39. Yep. But, this sort of macro pressure, if you will, just is not helping these guys.
We had this trickle of deals, ARM and Instacart, Birkenstock, Klaviyo, and we were talking with a lot of smart venture capitalists on this show. Does that sort of trickle turn into a stream, maybe a flood? This doesn't help that. I mean, when you see the public market reception to these deals, throw in all the uncertainty, domestic and foreign, it's hard to see how a lot of deals get done in that kind of environment.
Risk aversion seems to be the name of the game right now.
Yep.